What up, y'all? Welcome to Next Mood Swing. I know we get look at us just popping up with episodes, okay? So you already know you guys are on this journey with me, and like at first we started with the interviews, then I would just start having friends over, and so the Virgo in me is like, oh my God, how do I organize this? So when I have my friends over, we're gonna, title this segment a little differently. We're gonna call it Jesse's House. So welcome to Jesse's House.
Down the hood to get some cake. Let me stop by Jesse's house just to say hey. And we talk about life while I sit on the floor. And then I hear a knocking on the door. Welcome to Jesse's house.
Boom. All right, y'all. I'm super excited. It is Monday morning. Hey, how are you?
Yes.
Good morning. Normally we do this Friday nights, but again, we got the setup, so whoever comes over, you know what I mean? We just ready, and I'm so excited today. I'm going to actually have you guys introduce yourself and where you're from, because it will be, this is like pop the balloon, okay? So, and where you're from, and I'll get into why I'm asking where you guys are from. So, boom, I got two of the homies in the house. Khalil.
Hey.
Khalil, where are you from?
My name is Khalil, and I'm from Orangeburg, South Carolina.
Boom. And you already know we got Crystal. Crystal been on Next Mood Swing before, talking about them housewives.
I mean... Crystal Bubbling, and I'm from New Jersey.
Period. Okay, so I'll get into why I asked where you guys came from to this lovely state of California in just a minute. But let's just do a quick hot topic, because I seen that the Met Gala 2025, they just announced the chairman. I don't think they announced who's gonna host it, because usually it's like a pop star or somebody who hosts it. But it is Lewis Hamilton. Will be one of the chair people. Love him. Amazing fashion. A$AP Rocky, also great, amazing fashion. Pharrell Williams, amazing, incredible fashion. Coleman Domingo, very much known for his fashion. And then LeBron James.
What was that? We're gonna get into that.
I just feel like we talking about Lewis Hamilton, Pharrell Williams. Like, these are people that, like, to me, it's like high end fashion. Like, fashion is what they do. When I see LeBron James, I don't put him in a fashion.
Have you seen the fits before the games?
LeBron be dressing.
The fits before the games when they do the walkthrough.
But do you feel like he specifically is picking those out, or he has someone that knows how to dress him? I feel like every person we named before is picking out their clothes.
Every person you named has a stylist.
They all have stylists.
Lewis Hamilton definitely has a
Coleman
stylist.
Domingo definitely has a stylist.
Pharrell is the head of men's fashion at Louis Vuitton. Now, see, I'm not of the opinion that A$AP Rocky can dress. A$AP Rocky, it always just looks like he put a bunch of shit on.
With a kilt.
Right. And they say, like, get dressed and then take one thing off. Like, A$AP Rocky's like, get dressed and then put one extra thing on. I don't understand what's happening a lot of times when I see A$AP Rocky. I can do a kilt and a shirt, but it'd be like a kilt, a shirt, and then like
hot topic,
a chinchilla cropped fur.
I feel you.
And I'd be like, what's going on?
And to be honest, fair, because that's exactly the picture I'm looking at. And he
like
does,
80 degrees.
Underneath the kilt, he got legit jeans that are splattered with paint, and some cowboy boots.
Why do you have jeans on underneath the kilt? The whole point of a kilt is to let them breathe, baby.
Well, so the theme this year, though, is Black Dandy. And so Met Gala put on there that basically the theme will be super fine, tailoring Black style. It will take the Black dandy as its subject, examining the importance of clothing and style to the formation of Black identities in Atlantic diaspora. And a lot of people are afraid that this will lead to some sort of blackface, appropriation.
Are we talking about dandelion? Like, what are we talking about?
So, like, if you think about like the Cotton Club, like the 1920s.
Oh, okay.
When Black men used to like dress up for everything, they were called dandies because they were always
Did not
dressed.
know that.
dressed to the nines.
Are we talking about like when they did the press and they had the Malcolm X era of,
and they'd have on a full suit just to go to the grocery store.
Okay.
And Hard Souls.
So like, what's Camila Cabello dressing like? What's she coming dressed as?
Camila Cabello is definitely gonna put on an afro wig and some spray tan that's like 3 shades too dark.
Amanda Seyfried.
Amanda Seyfried is just super pale anyway, so it's not. I feel like Amanda Seyfried will do the right thing. I feel like Camila Cabello is gonna let us down. She's gonna let us down, bro. With her history, I don't trust it.
Havana,
I don't trust it. I don't trust it. After the way she did Normani.
Oh. Well.
Normani.
I was like Normani.
Yeah. I called him LeBron, so.
LeBron. I figured that's what you meant, though.
LeBron.
Go ahead. You know what? Normani, I just heard she's going to try and put a tour out, and.
Good for her.
I hope that works, boo.
I've been seeing her doing ads on TikTok a lot. I don't know if they're like Uber Eats or something like that.
I did see that.
But
Really?
that's
I did see that.
Seems
like
to
Uber
be
Eats
the most
commercials.
consistent work she's had. I'm happy for her.
No,
I'm happy for her. But I'm just like, girl, what?
Well, it's funny because it's like, obviously we've worked in LA, right? So like your vision of what Hollywood is, because like I think about like Normani, right? Even Chloe Bailey. Like Normani, when she first came out with her little single and she was on the MTV Awards with the basketball, I forget what the song was, but it was cute. It was Motion or something like Motivation. Super cute choreography, and then all of a sudden it was like nothing. And then you release your first single to your album 2 years ago and just dropped the album now. And so at first, back in the day, I would be like, okay, maybe it's the record label, which sometimes it is the record label, and they're not pushing the artist or something. But as I've worked in LA, we also kind of know that sometimes it's not that, and sometimes it's your favorite artist. Sometimes it's, and I don't know this about Normani. I've never heard anything really positive or negative. I've never come into contact with her camp. But sometimes it can be, I know with Azalea Banks, her thing is people don't like working with her. So
Right.
it's hard for people to pull productions together and stuff like that. So I wonder, like, with Normani and, like, Chloe Bailey, too, because even Chloe says that the label won't let her put music out. Oh. But this whole thing about these artists, it's like, I just feel like we're trying to get the Beyonce factor out of everybody within the first 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I never thought about that. Yeah.
It's like, when Beyonce first came out, we was ragging on Destiny's Child's outfits. Like, it was cute at the time, but then we'd also be like, well, they're on stage, so they can get by with like the spandex.
We talking about like Survivor era?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like we love them, and like again, the Survivor video, everything. But like,
they were certainly country.
And can be.
You certainly could tell that somebody's mama made them outfits.
Okay. They're not the leotards that we see today and know
Right.
and love, right? But Beyonce worked towards that. It's like, I always have this theory, it's my Britney versus Christina, which you could apply this to literally everything. But like, why Britney Spears can be out of her rocker crazy now and still sell more than Christina Aguilera is because we watched Britney, who was somebody, she was relatable, she had a nice factor, an it girl, and we watched her slowly turn into the Britney that we know. With Christina, her thing was like, okay, we're getting this cute little pop girl, genie in a bottle. Then all of a sudden it was like, no, I'm a rebel, naked and like stripped. Then all of a sudden she was like, no, I'm not that anymore. Now I'm back to basics, Marilyn Monroe. And then, no, I'm not. I'm actually dominatrix, bionic. And it's like, okay, all right, creative, but like, who are you? Where Britney, it's like you're getting the same thing, but each time it gets a little grown, sexier, so you feel like you grew with her.
We went on a
person.
ride with Britney. Christina keeps changing lanes.
Exactly.
Like, we don't know where to go.
But I feel like that. I feel like you're supposed to grow and you're supposed to change. I mean, the main person who always did that was Madonna, and we ate every time Madonna gave us something new. We were here for it,
but
and I
we
think
knew
that's
Madonna's struggle. Like, Madonna was very much about like, I moved to New York with $14. I got on a bus,
Yeah,
had
that's true.
$14, like, and we saw her like on the side of the road doing the sex pic, the nude photos, and like growing into that character. And because she was the first of her time, right? When Dirty came out, though, it was a shocker. Like, I remember that video being like, Nazi and like
With Redman
underground, like,
at
oh,
that.
this is insane. And now you look at it, it's like, this is nothing, girl. Like, this is like their first music, like a Tate McRae or somebody's first music video. Is that?
Well,
Shout out to Tate.
I take
We
care
worked together a long time ago.
Oh,
Go ahead.
okay.
Yeah.
So you think you can dance, right?
Yeah. Very nice girl. Go ahead.
I take everything. I find there's racism in everything,
Ooh.
and I feel like with Britney Spears, she was very, American, blonde haired, blue eyed, maybe brown eyed, very. What is it? Maltose, very white bread.
Right.
And a lot of times, especially in the music industry, and having worked in the music industry, their thing is like they want somebody that they can create the stardom for, right? So you don't have somebody that there's not necessarily a tie to any one thing. And I remember also, like, back in the day when Jessica Simpson had a TV show, they were on her because when Jessica Simpson sings like a 300-pound black lady in church. She really does. But the label had told her to lighten up her vocals and make it more mainstream. And I think that's this kind of the same thing that happened with Christina. And then also her last name is Aguilera.
Right.
So you can't.
Okay,
if
come
she
on
was,
with the twang.
Shout out to 9th and 10th grade Spanish. So, that's very discernible. You know what I mean? Even if she was trying to just be this pop princess and stay in this like sanitized lane, you hear Aguilera, that's not Johnson or Smith, or you know what I mean? So I feel like a lot of what's kind of hampered Christina's success is her being in that pop lane when honestly she has like an R&B voice. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I remember her at one point, because she liked to sing Etta James at Last, and all the label folks were like, stop doing that, stop doing that, stop doing that. She's like, but I can really sing, like I can, no disrespect to Britney, but like you're not hitting, Britney's not hitting notes. No. And Christina can do the whistle register, like that girl can sing.
Like they almost should have marketed her more like Mariah Carey.
Right. Yeah.
I was gonna say like
or Pink.
That's what the point I was about to make. It's like this is really clearly it's not a talent issue. It's like it's the marketing, mm-hmm. and it's not that she didn't have Christina, not that she didn't have hit songs or whatever, but like it wasn't the same as like the moment that we had with Britney. I remember mm-hmm. watching, they do those TV infomercials where they sell you the album. I remember watching that for Britney Spears albums.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like you think about like going back. I don't know if you guys saw that Lou Pearlman documentary.
I sure did. I was just thinking that. And
like it's cool because it brings you back to those moments, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, then when I really was like looking at numbers and like chart hits, like the people that I think, icons and all that, and not to say obviously Britney had number ones like and things like that, but like they sold a lot. Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, they sold a lot, but
mm-hmm.
like on the charts, not really competing in the way that like how we say like, oh, went to number one, staying mm-hmm. on the charts for a long period of time. And it was more the marketing behind these people that made us understand what the story was that we were getting from them and why we kind of fell for them. And to move that into kind of like where we originally started with Beyonce and like the Chloe Baileys, the Normanis, like I know Normani was in Fifth Harmony and like from the X Factor, but I don't really outside of that, mm-hmm. it's like, okay, I see you at red carpet events. Why are you at red carpet events?
And I was just about to say, I think the artists of today, excluding Normani from this conversation, like they really understand that marketing thing because we see people like Normani's and Chloe, I would put in the like the talent category. Like you've got the sauce, 100%. But then like we've got artists who aren't necessarily like the best singers, the best rappers at the top of the fucking charts because they understand the marketing part and the story behind it and like
or they're just
all those
sitting
other
on,
things.
like, I know y'all be on TikTok. I don't know if you've seen YK Osiris.
I haven't seen him on TikTok. But
I'm like, yo, what? I want to look. I know I said I'd be over the interviews, but like, I would love to sit with him and just be. I know he wouldn't even give the real conversation as to what happened, but like, bro, after that video with Drake, like, what happened? Because it's not like he. What I
Who's
say?
this? Who are we talking
YK Osiris.
Yeah, what
what
is
video with Drake?
Gonna leave you the world. He had that one song. I'm not gonna.
See, I don't listen to Drake, so I.
Well, no. He wasn't. It was his song. YK
Yeah, I
Osiris.
don't listen to him either.
Yeah, he only had the one song.
I don't know them.
But so he had the song, I could give you the world, and people were saying he was gonna be the next R&B person, right? And he was rolling with OVO, and he was at Drake's house, and Drake, there was a video that went around of Drake like basically being like, perform for me now, like just kind of bitching him out a little bit, and he would do it. And like after that video, like he just wasn't putting music out. He would delete his whole Instagram, and now he'd just be sitting on TikTok. And I'm like, this is the new generation of artists. Like, you make music, you get the hit, you see if you can keep up with the big dogs. If you can't, okay, now how are you gonna pivot? And so now, instead of like hitting the streets and performing, they're on TikTok. I mean, he ain't even singing on TikTok though. He just doing battles and stuff. Like,
The thing is that now, like when I was coming up, especially in hip hop, you had to be a talented rapper, right?
Bars.
You had to be able to go toe to toe with any rapper at any minute. You did a radio interview, you had to freestyle. Like now they'd be like, oh no, or they pull out their cell phones. Nah, none of that. You're getting nowhere. Then with Twitter, it became more about how many followers you had and your image. And then also with equipment being so easily accessible, because when I was coming up, you know, a mixer board, even a DJ setup,
Even
thousands of dollars, microphone,
and not only
thousands of
that,
dollars.
it would be so big. Like carrying my turntables in
Right.
New York on a train with 2 speakers was crazy. Like
Right.
the fact I was never robbed is insane.
And then now you can just go to the Apple store, post up, get you a little mic, get you a little mixer board,
little iPhone,
get
you
you
shoot a whole
Serato, and you can do your whole thing. So I think that, and I've thought this for a while, because especially watching the women come up in hip hop, like the kids look at this as like an after school job. Like where we were at like Little Caesars, you know what I mean? Like even say Megan Thee Stallion. Megan was rapping, but she was still in college getting her degree, and she wants to open assisted living homes. You know what I mean? So
That's the point I was about to make. That
Yeah.
like it feels like the new artists now are like, I'm gonna make music. Hopefully, one of these songs blow up, and then I'm gonna use that money, that fame, that platform to do something else.
They're not like trying to make a career out of it.
Yeah.
And it could be because for so long it was so hard to. But I think
it's a lot of reasons. I think like you see how like people get abused in the music industry and taken advantage of and this and that, and like, you know, people really like you 1 minute and 6 months later they don't like you no more, like whatever it is, or trying to keep up. Like I think it's several reasons. But
I'm sure there are. And but back to Chloe Bailey, we do know her story. But the thing is, we watched her and Halle grow up.
Yeah.
And they were just these 2 adorable kids that were crazy talented, and now Chloe just wants to shake ass, and it's like,
I'm so glad you said, because I was gonna say, yeah.
It's like Miley Cyrus's bangers era. Like I don't know if she's trying to break that, you know, my
Little
sister,
girl,
girl mold, but it's kind of unbelievable. Like I feel like there needed to be Ungodly Hour, their album together was,
One of my favorite
was great. But I feel like Chloe needed to have an album that just wasn't this.
Well, like
before
I feel like,
she got to this.
You know the song "Boy Bye." Mm-hmm. Boy Bye. That should have been her lead first single.
Mm-hmm.
Like throw her in some jeans, coming out like the top with the top down, driving through a valley with some hay on the side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just super cute, relatable. Like again, when I say the Britney factor, like give us not a girl, not yet a woman. Like, we want to see that transition. You
Right.
came out with Lord Hammer, which not gonna lie, like, and she was doing all the things.
I mean,
But
in the
then-
latex bodysuits and everything, like Chloe, we know you got it, girl. But and then to me, a
And
lot
then
of
the
those.
scene from Swarm was to me a little too early. Her getting
Oh,
back
yeah.
shots in Swarm.
Um,
All right, go on. 2024, we here.
I mean, listen, she got back shots in Swarm. She took a bullet in Fight Night.
Period.
So on the acting tip,
We good.
I fucks with Chloe.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that, like you said, the Beyonce-fication of everything. Like to me, every Chloe song sounds like a Beyonce throwaway.
Yeah.
Like Beyonce was gonna record this and she was like, I don't like it, or she did record it and she was like, give it to Chloe. And the thing is, Chloe is not Beyonce, and we don't want Chloe to be Beyonce. We got Beyonce. Beyonce is Beyonce. That's the one. That's the only one. We want Chloe to be Chloe. And even when I listened to Chloe's album, it was so much different than the singles that they were putting out. I mean, I know the
100%,
singles were on
yes.
the album, but the
Rest of the album.
the rest of the stuff that was on the album, I was like, this is
is
what we
you.
need to be
Yeah.
getting videos for and seeing, not this imitation great value Beyonce shit, because people recognize that. People like that Lord Have Mercy video. What video was it? It was on the tip of my tongue. I forgot. But there was like a Beyonce video that was like similar to the like Lord Have Mercy thing. And it was just like,
Yeah.
or it was like that whole, like how Beyonce did like Homecoming at Coachella. And then now
you're
Chloe's
doing the
on a
stepper-
college
the stepping,
campus.
yep, yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? It's like, no.
No, and I think too, because it's funny. The last episode we talked about in dating expectations, right? But then if you flip that and you put that towards like
Artists.
celebrities, right? Even celebrities, all in general, but artists especially, because the music makes us more attached. I feel with Chloe and Haley, for me, it was I wish they were still together. I wish we had gotten to see them as sisters, because I think too, my thing is we have no music there's no harmonies anymore. Like there's no people like singing together, and that to me is what made Ungodly Hour everything, because we saw you guys grow on YouTube. You gave us this amazing album, then you're like, all right, my part of your world, like, and Lord Have Mercy, like we're like, whoa. And I think that it's like it would have been cool to see a girl group, you know, whether it's just sisters or what, grow. And I think that they'll still do projects together, but for me as a fan, and I know I can't have that expectation because they're two different people. You know what I mean? It's like what we're
Right.
getting from Tia and Tamara, where Tamara's like, I'm having my own show, girl. Don't come on it. Like, kind of.
Tia, that's Tia.
Sorry. So I think that it's like, that's an interesting, like, process to look at. Like the City Girls, right? It's like, to me, look.
R.I.P. the City Girls.
R.I.P. the City Girls. Because, and why, you know, people love, and I like JT, I do. But I think the thing with JT is she hasn't found her, she's finding her thing. And
JT
I think
sounded
she's found
tired
it.
that whole album.
You
She
said
what?
She sounded tired.
Yeah, and so
She sounded like
to
she
me,
did
people-
not want to be there, except for JT
Her album
coming.
or-
Her album.
She does. She does sound like she wiping the morning mucus out of her
The-
eye. Like she's like,
like-
you know, I was coming down the street and I'm doing right. Like it's like, girl.
Coming from, so like I used to work in radio, and like one of the first things they taught me was smile when you talk, because people can hear your smile. JT did not smile that whole album. She was just like talking, and either she sounded tired or she sounded like she was reading her lyrics. I was like, I want to take a nap.
But when it comes to the City Girls, like I do like JT. Like,
I
but
like
the
JT
thing
too.
is, then people be like, yeah, but Young Miami wasn't made for that. Like, I'm gonna be real with you guys. JT is amazing.
Yeah.
What made the City Girls was Young Miami, and the reason being we hadn't heard that accent
Awful rapping.
Yeah, I mean,
I think there was a level of fun.
Yeah.
That he's talking about. I think that's what he's talking about.
They were
there
great
was a level
balance
of fun
for each other.
Yeah,
it's
it
Young
was
Miami. Like it was like almost like a joke, but then it started making the flow of the songs like
because JT came with the bars.
Yeah, exactly.
And Young Miami came with the
Energy.
the vibe, the energy. Yeah.
Young Miami was giving real Silk the Shocker.
But we
A
know,
lot of times.
but the thing
I was
is,
like,
like, we
girl, what?
all know a Young Miami, you know,
Yeah,
and like
that's true.
she's fun. Like we want to go out with her. Like, oh, what y'all doing tonight?
Hey,
Like,
no Diddy.
right. Not anymore,
Easy.
but now that we know,
Easy, this is
now
on
that we know what
camera.
she's doing tonight.
you know, so like I get what he's saying though.
Yeah.
JT is like it's like bars,
Right.
you know. I get what he's saying.
Like
He's gonna rap
separated,
house now.
yes, it makes sense for JT to have a career and drop an album. Does not make sense for Young Miami to put out a full project of her own. That's what I'm saying. They worked well together, right? And it's funny too, before we switch from this subject, but so I got into it with this person because look, I'm a barb heavy. Like I love Nicki Minaj, but I grew up off Little Kim. Like I grew up off Salt and Pepper. I grew up off like I can go back, but like and further than that, because that's the thing that I feel like it's so funny when people. Like any older person too who argues about Meg Thee Stallion versus Nicki Minaj. Like first of all, you're falling into a media buyout. That's what they want you to discuss because you would never.
But that's what Nicki wants us to discuss.
No, what I really think Nicki wants people to discuss is Nicki's name shouldn't be brought up with these people, and she's irritated that people are. And the reason I'm saying is. What about Eve? What about MC Light? What about Missy Elliott? What about like there's the people we should be putting Nicki Minaj's name in is with these people and they get washed over because I got into an argument on Twitter and I really have been trying to like control myself online going back and forth with stan accounts. But look, as much as I'm a barb, someone was trying to say like they were giving Lil' Kim her props and I was like, yes, Lil' Kim, you know what I mean? Came with the fashions and all that stuff, but like they were basically saying that Lil' Kim feminized female hip hop, and I was like, and trying to take that away from Nicki Minaj. I'm like, neither of those women did that. Like, do you not know who Salt and Pepper is? Like, as far as like,
I mean,
Lil' Kim came with the fashions, but in
mean,
2024, no one's sampling Lil' Kim. Nobody's. They are, but it's just I feel like there's other women.
As somebody who was there, and
Same.
I'm dating myself, as somebody who was there for all of that, Lil' Kim did the Lil' Kims, the Foxy Browns, they did bring more femininity because, like I said, initially you had to be a good rapper, right? You had to be able to spit to rap. So the girls, the Lights, the Queen Latifahs,
JJ Fads,
Roxanne Shante, MC Shyrock, they were competing with the men.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very masculine. It was very if you go and watch the videos, like they got on baggy jeans and Carhartt jackets and Timberlands and stuff like that. And then Lil' Kim, when Lil' Kim came along. And
okay, but if Peppa wasn't 7 feet tall,
no, and then, but Salt and Pepper initially Salt and Pepper like pushing stuff, like yeah, they had the bodysuits, but it was kind of the same thing until they got to Let's Talk About Sex, which was like,
and What a Man,
their second album,
but still before Kim.
It's still before Kim, but even then they were kind of vilified. They were vilified 100%. For the song "Let's Talk About Sex."
Yeah, that was crazy.
Like,
and I even go back to TLC, like
compared to what's out now,
talking about HIV, the three letters.
That's what I was gonna say. Like the whole reason this is the issue really boils down to patriarchy and like women not being able to
speak on it.
Go ahead.
That's why one of my best friends.
Women not being able to like, just be a fucking human.
Come on, black man speaking for black women.
So
stand
I told
up.
you I was gonna come up in here and talk about black women. Put this microphone in.
Do it the right way. No shits and gigs, please. I can't take it. I can't take it.
But yeah, that's really where like this boils down to, and it's just like, and even like when you have those conversations, going back to the original topic of Nicki versus Kim, it's like it's rooted in patriarchy, to be honest,
and having the men wanting the women to fight over the spot.
What I will say, because admittedly, not a barb. What I will say, Nicki definitely did bring is lyricism in that era where Nicki was rising to popularity, and her
Scotty.
Smack DVDs and all that. Like, she definitely took the torch and ran with the lyricism.
Okay, I would also argue though, not argue, because I think you can see this too. Like, for me, what it was is I agree with that, because I believe that Lil' Kim set, and I think she's given Lil' Kim her props many times.
She absolutely has not.
She has. You can watch videos of it.
She kind of has.
She has, but at what point? But also, okay, but here's,
then she stopped
to be fair,
after a while.
But then she said, look, Lil' Kim was an inspiration, but at the same time, like, I low-key was more of a Foxy Brown fan. She's been consistent with that. And we all lived during that time. Like, during the time, it was like you were either a Foxy fan or a Kim fan, because I was a Kim fan. And it was later in life that then I was like, oh, actually, I actually do fuck with Foxy. Low-key, I feel like Foxy's music, longevity-wise, for me, has more replay value. I don't really go back and listen. I'll listen to Kim's hardcore. I'm not really listening to La Bella Mafia. Oh, La Bella Mafia's cute, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, Trina
I was
to me
more of a Foxy Brown fan.
Okay.
But I can recognize every single thing that
Kim did.
Nicki did that Kim did.
Okay, yeah.
Like, come on.
Agreed.
Like,
agreed.
Yeah.
But so where I was saying with that, what I feel like, because Kim had lyrics, but Nicki to me brought animation in a way that, like, personality that I hadn't seen realistically since like a Missy Elliott or Lisa Left Eye. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like those two, like, if Left Eye really, because her albums by herself were like, okay, girl, what are you on? Love that. You know what I mean? And I feel like she was just beyond her time. If she dropped those now, they'd be amazing. And so with that, but like, it's funny to me how the younger Gen Z, because I seen your TikTok too, Crystal, about like the Gen Z stealing our slang.
They're trying to steal our slang. They try to steal our slang. And like I saw a video, and it was like this older sister and her younger sister, and she was like, I'm gonna guess what Gen Z slang means, and one of the words was ghosted. I was like, that's not new.
What do they say it is though? Because I know
ghosted is ghosted, like disappearing on somebody with no explanation. The same thing. And then like,
yeah, but it's when they take the word, like you said, the word bop.
Like bop, yeah.
Khalil, what does bop mean?
It's a hit song.
Period. What
else could it mean?
Song, what else could it mean?
It's also like
head.
A thotty.
Yeah.
And that's what the girl in the video said. She was like, her sister was like, oh, it's like a thotty, and she was like, yeah, it's like that. But like when I was living in Houston in 2008, they were saying bop and bopper.
Yeah, bopper.
Even it's a Slim Thug song.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Paul Wall talks about it
exactly
like, all the time. Yeah.
So y'all not. This ain't new. Ohio now.
I do like Ohio, and I'm not even mad at Skibbity, to be honest with you.
Ohio, that to me, that's fucking brilliant. It's brilliant. Ohio catching strays, but the fact that now Ohio means trash is hilarious to me. And I every time I hear it, I crack up. You
gotta be careful about Ohio. You know they're eating the dogs and the cats in Ohio. So
they're eating the cats.
You got to be
dogs.
careful.
Do that.
Right. So let's take this into like our life of working in LA, right? So I brought up the whole we got to Beyonce everything, because I had to in my personal life. I brought that comment up because I say that to myself. It got to a point, like, obviously we did AfterBuzz, and like at that time I feel like I was like fully in the machine. It was gearing me up to work in the machine. And so what I loved about at the time when I was doing it, like hosting different shows and things like that, doing red carpets, it was just a fun way to connect with people. For me, I was never a carpet person, liked doing the carpets. I liked more sitting at the table with my friends and talking shit. And then living in LA, you know, you come out here with hopes and dreams and all this stuff. But now there's this, like, with social media, this unattainable, unrealistic lifestyle that gets put on that almost sucks the fun out of it, which is why I wanted to do this. And where a lot of my anxiety comes from with, like, how should the podcast be? What's the organization? It's like, the most success I had was when I was just having fun. Never when I was, like, overly planning things. So I was like, that's why I'm just going to set this up the way that we're doing it. Because I don't want to be Beyonce. I don't. I love Beyonce? Yes. Like, one of the top faves. But, like, and God bless her. Do I want to be Beyonce? No. I don't want to have to be this image that everywhere you go, you have to live up to this amount of success, this amount of... Girl, I'm trying to walk to Ralph's in my sweats. You know what I mean? And pick up my stuff, come home and be successful, happy, and whatever. And I think that I see a lot on social media of people, like, losing that aspect. Like, you don't have to be Beyonce to be successful. We want something to attain, but it's like, girl, I ain't trying to climb the ladder all the way. Good luck, like, with that. Like, and I see it getting pushed. I feel like with our generation, right? Like Gen X and what are we, millennials, right?
Yeah.
I think I consider Gen X a millennial because mentality-wise, we get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I feel like we are top tier in the sense of we understood life before social media. So it almost sometimes is like I could disconnect and I'm still good, which feels weird. Right. But I don't have the pressure of, like, this fantasy mindset of I want to be Beyonce, because I also understand life and I understand enjoying my privacy. Where this new generation, everything is on camera, everything is this. I have to present myself. I have to look like this. I have to take my picture before I drink. Make sure you guys order one of these. I used to give a fuck. I have to sell everything in every image that you know what I'm saying?
Everything is merch.
And so, like,
everything
for you
content.
guys, have you guys had that LA experience of almost like for you having to push the brakes of, am I doing this because I want to do this, or am I doing this because society is putting certain things in my head to make me feel like I have to be in a certain place or, you know, be of a certain standard to create what you want to create or just be here?
Absolutely. I don't know if you... Personally, I definitely feel like... And it is a mixed bag of social media and just, you know, other people that I've known that are also engaging in social media and different things like that, and like what they consider success to be, how they define it. And it definitely took me several years, and I would even say I'm still kind of going through it of like, no, this is what I'm doing because this is what I enjoy and this is what speaks to me, versus this is what is expected of me to have come to LA and to be in film and television and different things like that. I know one thing, like, I personally struggle with or getting better with is FOMO. Like, I'll see something going on, something happening, and I'm like, well, why didn't I know about it? Why wasn't I invited? Why wasn't I there? I was at home watching anime. I could have pulled up.
Yeah.
So that's me.
I think I'm currently at that point where I'm constantly like, what the fuck am I doing here? You know what I mean? Because the reality of the situation, like when people see like living in LA, and they don't think about the realities. They don't think about the bills. They don't think about, you know, paying $5 for gas. They don't think about food. They don't
friendship, community,
exactly.
Yeah.
And LA is so huge. It's like your best friend could live, like, you know, we're out in the valley. Your best friend could live in Inglewood. You won't see your best friend for a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Y'all be on FaceTime. It was one point Khalil was thinking about moving downtown, and I was on the phone like it was a funeral. I was like, oh.
Baby,
why would you do that?
Downtown.
What's wrong with, why would you go to downtown?
You all see Jocelyn Cabaret? Damn, double suicide.
Right. So, yeah, I'm at that point where I'm just like, what am I doing? Because when I think about the life that I want, and especially at my age, it's like, it's becoming more and more unattainable as like prices are going up, and here houses are starting at like $1 million, like, you know.
You got to think about the San Andreas fault line and like.
See, I don't think about that.
Girl, I never did until I started looking at property, and then I started like YouTube and stuff, and I was like, oh, I have no time.
I don't think about that because if it happens, like, what are we gonna do? You can't jump in the fault line and pull it back together. Like, it just is what it is. It just is what it is, you know.
Sure, they're not even covering homes in Southern
that.
California anymore, but that's another topic.
Right, and I think that while we can like disconnect, the younger people that came up when that came up with social media, I think they just have like a better understanding of it.
I was gonna say I wouldn't even give us as much praise as we can disconnect. I feel like we just as addicted, some of us.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
I know I am.
But here's my thing. I agreed because baby, Marvel Snap on my phone. I like don't know if it's actually like a bad vice or like something that actually brings me peace and harmony to my life because it feels peaceful when I'm playing it for like too many hours. I'm like in bed at like 9 and it's like 11:45.
That's me scrolling it through TikTok at 3 a.m.
TikTok is basically TV, but
it is.
The fact that we can like what I've noticed is that, but I at least think about like, okay, Jesse, like you done scrolled through everything on Instagram. It literally told you like you looked at everything, and it's like so then you X out the app. And then I like instinctively just opened the app back up. I was like, okay, this is a problem. I recognize that as a problem. Versus I've recently hung out with some Gen Z and like the way they'd be on their phone, then the phone does like, my phone's dead. I'm like, well, bitch, because you've been on it.
Right.
Like be in the moment in the experience. That's where I was kind of saying with, I feel like even though, yes, I be in it and girl, my mom be in it, denying that. Oh, you guys. Oh, girl, you be on the phone scrolling till 2 a.m. I see you on Facebook. You know what I'm saying?
It's just
like,
different things. My mom. I got my mom, who's 80 years old. I got her all like appled out. iPad, laptop, her phone, and because she lives on the other side of the country, and I was like, I know, we can't do. How do I do this? I was like, no, girl, you gonna learn how to use these things. And she be on there too. It's just different content. She be on her phone, Facebook, CNN, MSNBC, Fox, and Yahoo. Girl, why are you still looking at Yahoo? But yeah, it's just different. But they are, because I'll look over when we're together hanging out, and she'll be right there just in it. So we're all addicted, and that's the whole point of it. It's programming. The whole point is to keep you there, and that's why now there's like TikTok Shop. Now there's ads everywhere because they know we're keeping them there. We can get eyes on this advertisers. Most of these apps are they're not even social media apps. They're for advertising. I like on my phone. I have the social media triangle. So I'm like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and that's what I do like all day.
Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah,
that's how you get lost.
Come on, the Bermuda. Oh,
just saying.
That's deep, actually.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Okay.
Wait,
Just
so
saying.
I like that you said we understand the production of it, right? Because there are certain things that now that I've, like, again, I want to hear you. This is what I want to hear is you guys' story about what made you want to come out here. Like, what was the dream of LA for you, right? What you thought it was, what you thought you wanted to do, versus then you work on a show, and then you see how the show works, and you're like, oh, man, like, I don't know if, this ain't what I thought. Like, for me, it's why I just no longer, I'm reality TV'd out. I brain rotted myself doing so many years of Bad Girls Club and Love the Hip Hop and talking about it and dissecting it to a point where it's like, why would you dissect Bad Girls Club? You know what I mean? And Love and Hip Hop. These are not things you dissect. These are things that are created to keep your mind predictive programming, which is a whole nother thing. But my life became Love and Hip Hop. And so then as I work in reality and get older and I read mental health books and like, you know what I mean? Like why people are the way they are. And you start seeing certain things. You're like, do I want to be a part of this? It's actually why I stopped DJing for real. Like I just was like, okay, I'm DJing. Yeah, I'm great, bringing great vibes. But now I'm looking at the same people coming every week being shit-faced drunk. And like, I don't know if this is just me growing up with my mother, but like I was just looking, I'm like, I'm adding to this problem. And I don't want to add to this. I don't want to be the place like you come in here every week and wasting your money and getting hammered drunk, and like I'm promoting that environment. Like, and that happened for me with working in production. Like on certain shows, like dating shows, I can't anymore. I don't believe in the content anymore. But like when I explain that to people back home, they don't understand that. They're like, "What do you mean? Love is blind?" Like,
Child, I don't understand it.
you know,
Because I just want to work consistently.
I have a lot of friends and family that want to be in reality shows and different things, and I'd be trying to tell them like, no, you don't. No, I have a sister. She is in college right now studying to be an entertainment lawyer, and she was like, "Oh, maybe you could get me like an internship at Zeus." I was like, "Absolutely not, no." And then you and I have a close friend over at Zeus, and I was no. I will call her and tell her not to hire you.
Of all places.
Yeah.
She just wants to work.
She specifically said Zeus.
She would be working all day.
She
because the lawsuits. she would never have a day off. I don't think she knows it's. Yeah, girl. It's not gonna be Baddies Caribbean.
No,
you're gonna be in court every day.
It's like no, I'm not doing that.
But that's the thing, like for you guys, what was the draw to LA? Like, you know, obviously, I think our time is different too, because when we were younger, I feel like the only place you could do this type of production was LA. Where now it's like, I think like kind of like what you're saying, Crystal, like, do I need to be here? Like, all these shows is in Atlanta happening. I was just traveling to Mexico. Like,
and I could just run up in. I just order everything I need off Amazon and set it up in my $300,000 4-bedroom house in Houston, Texas, like,
and be good.
You know what I mean? I never wanted to come to LA.
Really?
It just was never a thought in my mind of all the places that I could live. I came for a job and got fired a week later. And now I'm petty. So it became like, this bitch left me for dead, so I can't die. So if I'm gonna be here, I'm leaving here with something. As Uncle Denzel said, I'm leaving here with something. And then I always loved acting and took acting classes as a child. And probably like 2006, 2007, when I went to Vegas, and the Second City had a theater in one of the casinos. And I went to one of their shows, and I was like, man, if I'm ever in a city with the Second City, because I always loved Saturday Night Live, I was like, I want to take classes. I want to go there. And so when I came to LA, I was just driving around getting to know the place. I saw UCB, and I was like, oh, cool, UCB, I'll take classes. And then I was driving down Hollywood Boulevard, and it said the Second City, and it was just like, ah, and I was like, bet, I'm going to the Second City. So I did that, and, you know, did improv for a long time, and then I just don't feel I've achieved my goals as an actress yet, which is the only reason why I don't just pack this shit up and leave, because again, petty, and that's probably why it's not happening. Right? Because that's negative energy.
Well, kind of expand that. What do you mean pay to people who are watching like in Kansas? Like
petty.
Petty.
My thing is just that I want the person who brought me out here and then fired me a week later and a couple of my exes to have to see my face on their television all the time.
Let's be honest. They've already seen it a couple times.
They've seen it a couple times. It's not enough. It's not enough. I want syndication. I want every time you come out of the shower and a commercial pops up for fucking Zyrtec, you got to be reminded. You got to be reminded of how you gave me hell. I want you watching your favorite TV show. I come around the corner and there's the laugh track. Hey, it's Krista. Like, listen, I know it's not positive. I know it's not pretty.
But it's real.
But it's just who I am. It's just who I am.
I support it. All right, but what would you guys say is something that you've learned working in the industry that you like look back to before you were out here like, oh, I wish I had known that because I would have came into this totally mentally different. For me, an example would be, I guess more because again, before here I lived in New York, and so for me, what New York taught me was how to, because I come from the East Coast, so it's very fast paced, and also just when someone doesn't fuck with you or like you right off jump. Like there's no and unless you've lived in the East Coast, I can't explain that to you. And New York gave me that too, just honestly a more upfront level than I would even say Boston. But coming out here, there's so many more hoops of like, like for me, age was also another thing. So like if I knew somebody older, like, and I thought they were being a mentor, never in my mind would I think that person is jealous of me or actually possibly mentoring me to try and like derail me from something that has nothing to do with me because they fucking never saw a fucking therapist. You know what I mean? Like
preaching now.
So I feel like that was something for me, like growing up, and I don't want to say a bubble, but like in a world of like, I knew the people that fucked with me and I could tell when somebody did not fuck with me. And then now you got to navigate in this thing of, people will act like your best friend for years because of what you have or what you are connected to or who follows you. And for me, again, growing up when it wasn't social media heavy, that stuff was never a thought in my mind. So learning that as I was going has been I wish I could have warned younger me stepping into it, so I would have never joined a cult. But
I think for me it was more abstract. Like, you have to define success and happiness for yourself, and that cannot be reliant on someone or something giving you quote unquote permission to do a thing or have access to a thing. That was a world changing perspective that I needed to grasp.
Period.
I think for me, it's along the same lines as what you said. Like they say specifically when talking about New York versus LA, they say people in New York are kind but not nice. People in LA are nice but not kind. And so the thing I had to learn was, girl, that's not your friend. That's your coworker. And you work on these shows, and a lot of times it's fast paced, it's intense. Y'all bond or whatever, and you think, oh, this is my biffle for the rest of them. And then at rap, you don't see that person.
No.
You know,
and they surely ain't calling you on the next
exactly.
show.
If that show comes back, maybe you see each other, but all that, oh, let's hang out, let's they're not your friends. So yeah, for me, it was the whole thing of like you not really knowing who really fucks with you
and how to build that circle out here.
Yeah, right? and how to build that circle, and then yeah, that.
Well, so, and obviously we know the writer's strike happened this last year around this time, and also what had stemmed out of that and kind of where I wanted to go with a lot of this conversation was my homegirl had sent me this thing of about AI. And last week we talked about dating in the AI world, which, like I was saying, like, we used to have Tinder and all that stuff. And at a certain point that was new. I remember signing into Facebook only when you had a college campus account. You know what I'm saying? Like, otherwise it wasn't on Facebook. Now it's like for my grandmother. So the next thing to me, dating would be dating in the metaverse. Like, so you creating an avatar and you gotta like go see and hope. And that's a whole nother level of catfishing at that point, right? So I'm gonna ask you guys yes and no. Would you create, if this was the next thing, would you guys create an avatar and try dating in the metaverse?
Absolutely not.
Why?
Why would I? I don't understand why this sounds like a good idea.
And why does it sound like a bad idea?
Because I'm not going to get any type of physical pleasure out of this. Like, maybe if I'm lucky, I connect with somebody on an emotional level. But
Have
then,
you
like,
seen Black Mirror? No, I'm just
but it's like, I don't know. At the same time, it feels like a facade. Like, I might as well chat with ChatGPT if I'm really that lonely. Give it a little Jamaican boitois, you know what I'm saying? And then boom, I'm good.
I don't date in real life. I've stopped that. So I don't want to do it virtually. I wasn't enjoying it. I realized that men and women were having two completely different experiences. Speaking heteronormatively.
I mean, but also gay normatively. Like,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Gay
I'm team.
I'm
I'm
right.
team Crystal right now. So.
I don't want to do it in real life. I don't want to do it in the metaverse. I actually did Facebook dating. I tried that. No. I want no parts of it.
So then I now just switch this into from dating in the metaverse to working in the metaverse. So with the strike, one of the conversations that was coming up was a lot of these studios are pushing for AI. So I'm sure you've all seen those ads on TikTok where it's like, do you want to be a singer? Put your vocals in this and pick The Rock or Ariana Grande and you'll sing like one of them. So we have access to this. Or like the thing that went viral of Taylor Swift like getting gangbanged or whatever the image was, or Chris Brown, it's like AI of him with like his booty cheeks. Like, so we're getting all this AI where people can scan people's faces, all this stuff. And one of the things was these studios wanted to pay one upfront price for an actor. They would scan them and be able to use their likeness for things. I was friends with an influencer and we were walking and he was like, oh, my agent just hit me up for this thing. It's this AI thing. They'll scan me, give me $3,000 and put me in all these different places. And I was like, and he was new in the world of reality and all that. And I was like, I'm like, how long do they get your likeness for? Like
in perpetuity
$3,000
throughout the universe.
Because $3,000 is nice, but like not if it is for over a year. Like you're using me and shopping me out, and I think that's something. Just even working in Bellamy, like for a hair company, and seeing influencers and people who knew how to be like, yeah, okay, here's my fee for 7 months and then you're done with my content, and if you want to continue using it, like
exactly.
And a lot of people aren't like that though. Right. That's the crazy part. So what's you guys' take on this whole AI thing? Because I think we're seeing it right with robots, like just in general, and it goes down to this: when you go to Target and you do the self-scanner, right, they ease us into these things. The self-scanner feels like, oh, independent, just real quick, but that takes away a job from a cashier. Right, we're seeing the delivery robots out here in LA, which I know it's not a thing really elsewhere.
Self-driving cars.
The self-driving cars, like now that's
Waymo.
coming for Uber, Waymo. What's you guys' take on that aspect of it, and then it kind of trickling into Hollywood? Because also, side note, I saw this interview with Stephen Baldwin, who was like George Clooney, and all these people are buying production studios in like Utah, Colorado. He's like, but what they're not realizing is AI is coming in and you're going to be able to shoot an entire movie against this white wall back here. And it'll look like you're in Antarctica or whatever. And it'll look like, Khalil or Crystal is sitting on the couch, but really they wasn't even in the house and we shot this entire podcast with AI. What's you guys' kind of take on seeing it move from like everyday things and now kind of with the strike, how it happened, and like that kind of push from these networks to using it in Hollywood?
Now I feel bad because I love a self-checkout.
I mean, same, but
like, oh my God, I love it.
I ain't trying to talk to nobody.
You stand in that line if you want to. Like my brother-in-law is like, he hates it. He's like, no, I do the grocery shopping. I'm not going to do the work. I don't work at the grocery store. I'm like,
I feel that way too. But if
no.
I forget to scan some blueberries, it's like I don't work here.
Get me out.
So
Get me out.
I don't work here. Hey, shouldn't have had me do your job.
Exactly. I mean, I feel that too, but I'm like, get me out. If I can go to lane number 11 and scan my little items real quick and get out of this damn store, wonderful. I don't really, a lot of it is I don't really understand it. You know what I mean? I don't understand the inner workings of AI. I know I did a show, I was doing background on a show one time where we were in a basketball arena, and so they scanned us and then they tiled us. Like for the show, they scanned us in like 2 sections, and then on the show they tiled us so it looked like we had filled up the arena. I just think that with everything there's adaptation, and so those of us that were working jobs, I guess you would say like manually, we're gonna have to study and learn how to work with AI, because it's coming, and everybody, all these production companies and everybody trying to lower their bottom line and give their executives bigger bonuses, and so I don't know. I guess I never really had a feeling about it until you just said that thing about the cashiers.
Really?
And now I kind of feel bad, but then I'm also like, who really wants to be a fucking
That's
cashier?
what I was about to say.
They're probably like,
that's what I
thank
was,
you.
I was trying to let you have your moment, because
Yeah.
I was like, for the everyday stuff, I really don't mind it. If I'm being honest, like I understand that it takes away people's jobs, but I don't know anyone who woke up and was like, I can't wait to grow up and be a cashier.
Right.
But I don't think it's
gonna
about
be
growing up to be a fat cashier.
No,
but
but so that's what I was gonna say. Like the problem is like it's a structural problem within our society, within our economy. Like you're not making it a suitable area, like way of life for us to like survive. And you like, okay, innovation, I'm all for it. We progress as a species and start doing things smarter instead of harder. Like cool. Absolutely. Like we don't need cashiers anymore. Okay, cool. But like we still need to be like creating opportunities, or just like easing the way of life for everyone else. Like it shouldn't be like the person who is working at, I'm going to say Ralph's, whatever, as a cashier to feed their family. Okay, now you don't have that job anymore, but like there should still be other things that this person can do to provide and take care of their family. Like I honestly don't care if there's not cashiers anymore, but like, you know what I'm saying?
And
like
also there's not, a lot of these jobs aren't providing a living wage. And so it's just a matter of time before like even the people working within AI, like now, because it's relatively new or whatever, they cashing out. But it's the kids coming out of school that are studying it in school. When they get here, it'll probably drop to $15, $16 an hour, because now you, instead of having 40, 50 people doing it, you'll have 3,000, 5,000 people doing it. I don't see the problem as being AI. I see the problem, like you said.
Yeah.
We're not in like livable conditions for most people. Like,
as what you said about getting the execs bigger bonuses, it's like that's where I have the issue with. Like I'm okay if like we can't be Uber drivers anymore. Like all right, well fine, whatever. But like
but then
why are they getting all the money?
The head of
like,
Uber is getting a $55 million bonus.
Like why?
And the drivers are getting
nothing.
$325 for a ride. Like you're getting charged $30 to go to the airport, and the person that's driving you in their car with their gas is only getting like $8 off that ride.
Which, side note,
and no tip, because y'all don't be tipped.
Side note, I don't know how true this is because I haven't tested it for myself, but I read a thing where they said Uber will charge you more if your phone's about to die.
What?
Yeah. If you call for an Uber and your battery is like dumb low, they will charge you more.
That's terrifying. Because why do you know my phone is about to die, Uber?
They will, you give the permissions.
Yeah.
When you,
That's
when
true.
you,
Yeah.
So I haven't tested it for myself yet, but I want to try it out and see what's gonna happen. And think about like all the scenarios where like it's late at night, I'm ready to go home. All right, fuck it. I don't care what it costs. I'm about to you somewhere. This creepy
Milking
dude is following me. Fuck it. My phone about to die. All right, just get me out of here.
That's
Taxing.
crazy. But I mean, it goes to even like what you just said. Like, you know, the person who owns Uber is making all this money. The drivers are like complaining, like, can we just get health insurance or something? And their answer to that is no. Actually, Waymo.
Yeah.
Bye. You're out of here.
Yeah.
Because guess what? The robot don't need health insurance. And it's like,
Exactly.
Well, all right. And
Exactly.
so, yeah, I definitely believe that if your phone's dying, them bitches is like, all right, sure.
That's a couple more dollars to it. How bad do you want to get home?
One thing about it, you gonna pay for this,
Right.
honey. Oh my god, because that's so funny. I almost was gonna take one yesterday. I was like, my phone was dying. My homegirl was like, I got you. I was like, well, thank God, because that 10-minute drive would have cost me an arm and a leg. Coming out here with that. All right. So, what is one thing that you guys would say that after all of your years of experience, it's kind of helped you in a way to kind of shift with this transition of independent content creation? Like, has it shifted your brain from like, you know, because I guess it's like we've all kind of had that mentality of wanting to work for a studio, right, and all this stuff. Where's your mentality now as far as like where your goalpost is for what your version of success is?
I think mine is creating your own stuff. Like, we sold 3 shows.
It's 2.
Well, one got on. What? Blocked?
Mm-hmm.
Talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And then the podcast?
No.
Comics in Color?
That was talking about.
Yeah, but we still talking about it twice.
Oh.
But
Okay.
it got shelved once. So it's for me, it's creating your own. It's having your own. It's very much, you know, Rockefeller in the early 2000s. Like, we have the product, you can distribute it, but this is ours. Very much Wild and Out. Like, as much as I'm not a fan of that show, like
Respect.
that is Nick's show. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And he can take it anywhere because that is his show. And like the pilot, like he paid for and shot all that himself, and then took it to MTV and was like, hey, what about this show? So
Getting back to selling CDs out the back of the car.
exactly. For me, it's ownership and creating your own.
I think for me, it's like, yeah, I've just always wanted to make something dope. Like, I not that I don't think my stuff isn't good, but you know, that's just always kind of been
You wanna
like
continue.
the North Star. Is like, I want to make something dope. I want to be a part of something that's super dope, and that's the goalpost.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to what I said earlier about like defining success for myself, it's like that was part of it. Like, just because I'm working on this super popular show, I don't necessarily feel successful. I don't
Right.
even really feel like I contributed enough to say that like I'm the guy, you know, just because I'm affiliated with it, like I'm getting a check or whatever. And that fed into the defining success for me. And it's like, okay, I made this, or I was a part of this thing, and I'm really proud of it.
Because what is it called when I always forget what it is, but like when it's like that anxiety of like thinking like you're doing something but you feel like you're not really it.
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. Like having people from the outside world, like I got more recognition, like props, all that stuff when people saw me doing something, in the sense of that, like, oh, I'm working on the 4, or you know, they saw you on a red carpet, and it's like, if you knew how miserable I was that day.
Exactly.
Versus now you're like seeing me filming in my home and like I'm
and the thing that you're super proud of. Yes.
You know,
Yes.
it's like other people's and then but what causes that distraction in my head is like people being like, so are you working on any other shows? It's like, no, I'm working to try and get my show. Or like, but like I also work from home. Like that aspect of like feeling like I have to work on a show so other people think I'm doing something when I'm already doing it. Like, has that ever stipulated, like from outside, like from being from other places?
All the time. My uncle told me one time, I was 34, and he was like, if you, I was in New Jersey visiting home and coming back out here, and he was like, yeah, so you're 34. If you don't make it by the time you're 35, you know, just pack it up. Just pack it up because it's probably not going to happen. And I just started bawling. I just started crying because it was just like, one is like my favorite uncle, and like you absolutely don't believe in me, and it's not, you know, I had only been out here for like a year, and then I booked a commercial, and now I'm the star of the family to him. Even though that commercial was 11 years ago, he saw that commercial, and as long as he sees me in something, he's like, oh, you're doing it. Not, you know, he has no idea that I got paid like $12 an hour 8 months ago and haven't worked since. But to circle back, one of the things you were talking about earlier is like what we wish we had known. One of the other things for me is that not everybody has the power you think. Because you'll get out here and you'll meet people.
That's a deep cut right there.
You'll meet people that are like, you know, that you think are connected. You see working on a show, you think are connected, and they may even approach you like they're connected and like, oh, I'll let you know when this, you know, the next show, or you know, let you know about job opportunities. Because you know, my thing is like, if I don't work, I don't eat. You know what I mean? I don't have a roof over my head. So if we're in friendship or this, whatever this relationship is, that, you know, you're like, oh, I'll let you know when this one's hiring, that one's hiring. But then a lot of times those people, all they can do is let you know. They don't have the power to put you in position. They don't have the power to hire you. And I'm not even talking about like making you the lead on like a hit TV show. I'm talking about just getting you in to be a production assistant. But some people, they will gas you, and they will breadcrumb you.
We were talking about that before we started recording.
Really?
Yeah.
To keep you in their circumference.
And also the other part to add on to that is there's also this aspect. Yes, there's those people who like they want to feel more important at what they're doing, and it's like, girl, we all work in production. Like, what's your realty? But like the other part is I've also met people who could say your name and be besties with you in person, like want to be around your energy. You're amazing. You're so funny. I love when you talk like this. I love when you do that. Oh my God, I got to come on the podcast. All this stuff. Oh my God, I love when you're on set. I love when you're doing, oh, where's Jesse? But the name will never get brought up because, and I've learned this over the years, that some people don't want your energy in the room because they don't want whoever their boss is, because they might have been at something for a period of time and they've never really been able to break that mold. And what LA creates is people who don't understand real friendship. Because if you were to ever bring me onto something, my loyalty is to you.
Right.
I'm here to help you. I'm not here to get above you. If I get above you by whatever happens that the Lord fucking presented itself, then you think that that's going to be a kick to the boot to you? And that just goes to show people's mentality here in LA, which I understand, but I had to come into realization of that because it was people who I knew that did have power, maybe not to pull me on the show, but to definitely go into a room and be like, I know you see this kid, we need to pull this person in there. And too many times I've had to have outside friends be like, Jesse, this is what's happening. Right. And it's like, and I've had to like really come up with some like, I thought they were my friend. I thought everyone was my friend, baby. Let me tell you. Everyone ain't your friend. Everyone ain't your friend in LA.
No. I mean, the amount of the amount of rides, the amount of crashing on my couch, the amount of
and bitches will crash on your couch and still not
sending
call you.
food because they were depressed or whatever, and then like now they're in some blockbuster movie, and you call and beep boop beep the number you have reached, like you know what I mean, and it's just like, and the thing about that too is it's like when those people have the power, like people like us. We're a lot of times we're just looking to work. We're just looking to, it's not that we won't do the work. We're not looking for you to pull us up and have me on the red carpet with you. I'm just trying to work. So you ain't gotta make me your co-lead in this Jerry Bruckheimer movie or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to be flipping off cars and out of explosions and shit like that. I can be the cashier. You know what I mean? When he goes in to buy his little smokes or whatever and have the little walk and talk with the other detective.
Back to like Khalil said, I just want to be a part of something dope.
I just want to be a part of something dope, right? I ain't got to be a headliner making $3 billion. Like, I'll take SAG scale and the credit for my reel, because what's for me is for me, and if that's gonna come from me, that's gonna come from me regardless of you don't know my name now, regardless of if I am on a hit show or movie or whatever. What's for me is for me. So that isn't a threat to you, because what's for you is for you. Mm-hmm. And if, again, dating myself, old school, like Jay said, I put my niggas on, my niggas put my niggas on. Now we all somewhere foreign sipping something. That's the way it's supposed to be. But out here, it's like you said, a lot of people feel like if I put this person on, then they're going to get this easier than I had it, or they're going to take from me in some kind of way, when everybody has their own magic.
Yep.
Khalil's magic ain't my magic. My magic ain't Jesse's magic. Jesse's magic ain't Crystal's magic. Like, everybody has their own magic and their own thing that they bring to the table, and there's space for it all.
Mm-hmm. Especially going back to the AI thing, I think that's where it does seem scary, but it's also like, how do you utilize it? Because obviously the pendulum's swaying real far, and now with the Diddy stuff and like the industry getting exposed and people outside of the industry,
I can't wait
for it to swing back.
For the exposures to come out.
But that's the thing too, because because it's like, I know everyone in this room has heard, like, we've known about stuff. You hear stuff in the industry, and sometimes you don't get invited to certain things because they're like, okay, I know that person, they don't play like that. Like,
Facts.
Going back to that little app where some people can't get a job working at that company that your sister should never work for, because they be like, oh, you ain't the vibe, bro. And because you ain't gonna keep your mouth quiet about certain things, like, and so we know these things, but it's like, what am I gonna do sitting in my fucking house? You know what I mean? Like, all I can do is tell you about it, and most people don't want to believe it because they're so, they're obsessed with whatever the content is. So now I'm hoping this case does not get washed over. I do hope some other people's names do get exposed that should in the industry, because I think, by the pharmacists and like the medical people all involved, that's important to know too. But most of the world doesn't care about those people. Right. They want to know, like, what was French Montana doing?
Well, they said the trial's set for May next year.
Same day as the Met Gala.
As the Met Gala.
Way to bring it full circle.
Okay. And Puff is what is considered a dandy.
Nope.
So I know he's gonna be sick because he can't come out with style on him. He gonna be in his prison blues.
They need to have Farnsworth Bentley at the Met Gala with
Farnsworth Bentley needs to host it.
That was a dresser.
That's who I want to hear from.
Okay.
That's what I want to hear. Were you holding that umbrella over bottles of baby oil and lubricant, Farnsworth? Okay. What was happening?
What was happening behind that umbrella?
Are we canceling Diddy's music? I don't think so.
I
don't think so.
I think that unlike R. Kelly, he had hits. Mm-hmm. People love R. Kelly. I get it. Diddy's catalog is far too vast
Yeah.
to cancel. like you cannot listen to R. Kelly albums and be fine. And I'll give him 20. There's 20 singles with other artists out there, but Diddy was all over the place. And even production wise,
I mean, it's even like Kesha having to change her song
right
to fuck P Diddy instead of wake up like P Diddy. Like it affects so many
things. It would be
That's
like,
why I can't wait for the exposures to come out.
like you
I'm
literally
so excited.
Same.
you literally would look Mary J. Blige, Jodeci, Lil' Kim, Biggie, who they say we should have canceled a long time ago. I guess French Montana.
So many people. 112.
Keisha Cole, 112, Faith Evans. Like
Total. There's so many.
now
like,
that like I'm all for canceling R. Kelly. I'm all for canceling anybody who deserves to be canceled. I think the sheer volume of work that Puff's attached to, though, that I couldn't even in my purest state of mind, even in my I don't know what it's called, I couldn't even sit here and be like, yeah,
you
we're
can't even get the
canceling
sentence out
P.
right now.
No,
Yeah.
I agree with that. It is harder. I think because I always go back to R. Kelly when people be like, I have to. It's like, look, R. Kelly is everything. He is the R in the R&B. Like, but at what point do you say, like, I have to like put my foot down? Because at the end of the day, you are putting money in a person's pocket.
Well, they changed that for R. Kelly. The
But are they
streams
gonna do
now
that
go
for
to
Diddy?
the victims.
Now, if that happens to Diddy, then I'll be like, well, all right. Now,
And then the thing about R. Kelly that's different is that R. Kelly, we know, was literally making songs about the shit that
I was
he
gonna
was
say
doing.
my favorite R. Kelly song is "Seems Like You Ready," and when you think about
He's singing that to a 14-year-old. You know what I'm saying?
It ruins it for
That's
me.
why
It ruins the
seems
song
like
for
you're
me.
ready. You know what I mean?
And I'm just like,
I mean, so but
damn,
then I
that's
think
such a
about
good
Diddy,
song.
like, hello, good morning. Like, was it? Like,
last night,
last night, couldn't even get an answer.
couldn't even get an answer. I tried to call, my phone wouldn't let me dial. My phone wouldn't let me dial.
Now, are you saying
no,
that
that
from the
GHB
predator
wouldn't
or
let me
the
dial.
victim's mindset?
I went to
Like,
a friend's birthday party Friday night at the Chapel, which is a gay bar in West Hollywood. For anyone who doesn't know, they played the Diddy verse to "Oh Let's Do It." That is a choice.
Right?
We are in
That's a
West
deep-
Hollywood,
that's a deep
Los
dive.
Angeles, California, and you are playing the remix to a Waka Flocka song and only the Diddy verse. Like, you chose to do
violence
that.
day.
We're
What?
not canceling Diddy.
I need to know that DJ's name, because why do you have that? I forgot that even existed.
Exactly.
I mean, not gonna lie, appreciate a throwback, but like, but also funny because I was at Trunks last weekend, and it was funny. They did Usher, and then it went into R. Kelly's "I Don't See Nothing Wrong," and it was so funny because Usher, we were all like, ah,
Yeah.
and then R. Kelly came on, and like it was like this weird, awkward, like everyone just kind of stopped and like looked around, was like, humming
I
it.
want to,
We were
but
like,
I want to.
I don't see nothing wrong. And then once everyone kind of looked around and was like, all right, like we're just singing, guys. And everyone started getting into it, and it was like, but it felt dirty afterwards. It did. It had
that?
it
Yeah.
just, you know,
I'm not gonna hold you. I got excited.
It's
They
a-
played the Diddy verse. I started rapping along. I fucked my billions up. I was man.
Okay.
That was I used to love that song. Diddy was my guy. Let's be
Listen.
honest. That was my guy.
I mean,
Listen.
Bow Wow just came out with a comment talking about now with this whole Diddy thing happening. He's like, there's no good parties in LA. Like, why would you say that?
But you know, okay, so my thing is like, at the time, like at the Diddy era, everybody wanted to go to a Diddy
Absolutely.
party.
Yes, of course.
Absolutely.
We have to be real about that.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to go to a Diddy party. Who
Absolutely.
cared? From the cashier that has lost their job to the self-scanner to the billionaire, everybody wanted to go to a Diddy party. My theory is that there's a Diddy party that starts at 10 o'clock that goes from 10 to 2, right? And a lot of people, that's the party they wanted to go to. They wanted to go to the Diddy party from 10 to 2. When you walk in the mansion, the party that was happening on the first floor. The thing is, there was also a Diddy party going on from 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. that was happening in the basement. And a lot of people never made it to the basement. So that's why there are people that are like, what? This is crazy. I never saw anything going, because you didn't make it to the basement.
And he
Because
was
like
not
you
supposed to
said,
know.
like you said, people know who they can play with. People know who are going to keep the secrets. I used to always say that I wasn't getting the full LA experience because I never went to a party where like there was surprise cocaine. You know what I mean? Like coming out here, that's all I used to hear about. Oh, you be at a party, you be chilling, and somebody bring out cocaine.
Yep.
That's never happened to me. I've never been offered cocaine, so I was like, I'm not.
I've been offered and asked.
I'm not. That's because you fit the profile. You're a drug dealer.
Oh.
In your black sweatsuit. Look at you.
It is giving drug dealer
Look at
today.
you. No.
It is giving drug dealer today.
But says the actual.
It was.
I wasn't gonna call you out
Says
like
the actual
that,
drug dealer.
I was gonna let you live.
Legal drug dealer. It's just weed. But anyway, so I would say that I was like, I'm not getting the full LA experience. I wouldn't do the coke. I would of course judge whoever offered me the coke, but I just felt like not being offered, like I was missing out. And my homeboy told me is because cokeheads know cokeheads and you ain't a cokehead, and so they know not to bring it around you and not to bring it up.
Period.
And so I was just like, when he said that, I was like, okay. So there are people that went to Diddy's parties and saw nothing. There are people that went to Diddy's parties and they are the plaintiffs in this case.
It's the Carisha thing of it too. Of like, I mean, I don't deny that when she came out, I was like, I don't deny he did none of that, but he just ain't never do it to me.
Right.
Like, it's like people treat certain people certain ways.
And like
This is what
Keisha
it
Knight
is.
pulling with Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
But the thing that was different about like her and like when Jill Scott was sticking up for Bill Cosby is they weren't. It wasn't that I've never seen it. I don't know. I don't deny that they did it, but I've never seen it. They were just like outright, no, it couldn't be because it never happened to me. And it's like that doesn't mean it didn't happen. That just means it didn't happen to you. Thank God.
Yeah.
Well, and we pray it never happens to you.
Yeah.
And so to wrap this all up, I want you guys to give me, what is one tip you would give somebody, a young creative who's motivated, wants to move to LA, fresh young buck? What is one tip that you will leave them with? And then where can everyone follow you?
Rethink your decision. No, I'm kidding. I would say, again, you got to define your own happiness, and it cannot be reliant on someone giving you a yes. And you can follow me on all platforms at Khalil Boo Boo.
Boom.
I would say don't do it, girl.
Right.
Stay your ass at home. You can do everything from your phone at your house in Stamford, Connecticut. Do that. No. If you are gonna come out here, definitely have some money saved up, and just remember, they ain't your friends, girl. They ain't your friends.
Well, not all of them.
No,
Not a real
again,
friend.
no, you
Come
meet
on now.
people.
You
And
will.
also,
You will.
don't
Don't go
I
so
want-
dark.
You will.
I also don't want the shade on people who are from California, because like,
Yeah, the transplants is the
Yeah.
problem.
Oh no. I wouldn't say like the people from
no,
California.
people from California are actually
And when
a chill vibe. Like,
when I say they're not your friends, I simply mean, remember, like, keep in mind that this is your journey and yours alone. You know, you can't expect everybody to be looking out for you. This is your walk. Yeah, but mainly have some money stacked because it's expensive out this bitch. Stack your bread. Y'all can follow me all platforms, Crystal Bubbling.
Boom. And you guys, like, save up that money, discernment, and trust your gut. For the longest time, I would go against what my gut thought, because I thought, okay, well, you know, I would have a chance, or this would be an opportunity or something like that. And it was like, every time go back and I think about what my gut initially said would have led me to the exact place that I'm still at today. But you need some of those lessons sometimes. So if you can pick up, because my thing is, we can give you all the advice you want, and most people ain't even gonna take it. Gary Vee wrote a whole book about that. But like, same thing to you guys. Like, just think about, and also creating a plan. That is a thing. Creating a plan, what your goal is, and how you want to get to that positioning. Thank you guys for watching. You guys can hit me up everywhere at Next Mood Swing across all social media platforms and nextmoodswing.com. Till next time, peace.